Wiener, 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 wiener,
One wiener next to another wiener.
wiener, wiener,
Two wieners alongside yet another wiener.
Welcome back
To each other.
to Coming This Summer. JB Martin, Ryan Superbad Sharp. As you can tell by the amazing intro song we're talking about.
Amazing intro song.
House of the Dragons.
Kudos to the chef on that
Finale. Season 1.
Yeah.
The pizza's coming.
The pizza's coming, guys. Yeah.
Man, a lot to talk about here.
Eh.
You're mixed.
Not really a lot to talk about, actually. There's actually quite little to talk about because 20 minutes
You
went
almost
by
feel like
of an episode.
they buttoned it up too tight.
Yeah. It's like it was too good almost. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it was a finale.
My
You know?
biggest problem was the show, for the most part, hasn't telegraphed anything.
Maybe I'm too used to MCU shows.
I think you are.
And those are one-offs.
Honestly.
And the finales are big.
Have to be.
And have to be because that's the last time.
Because I've told you, every
Okay.
season of Game of Thrones
Okay.
minus the last
All right.
episode of the
Mm.
season was very...
Okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
And then episode
because
9
there is
or
more, though.
8 or 9 was always the craziness.
Yeah,
When
because there is
yep.
more. Because
They got to
we are
tie up
getting to
those
season 2.
ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Cersei blew up everything, I think, with 1 or 2 episodes left that season when she blew everything up with the green stuff. That wasn't even the finale.
See, but I remember it as the finale.
Right, but
though.
that's the funny thing is it's
like
those
when
episodes
I look back
aren't.
on this, I'll be like, no, bitch. The finale was when the king
When he went,
died.
my love.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. That's the end of season 1. You know, and
No, I
every
could
time
say,
I look back on it, that'll
These
be the end of
two
season
were
1.
definitely like a part 1, part 2. And I
Yeah.
really feel like with the year and a half gap, they should have just maybe put them together as like a 2-hour special, aired it in like 6 months from now as an in-between of
Yep.
the season. I'm dead
Yep.
serious.
Yeah, or put one out in 3 months and the next out in the next. Then, yeah.
I liked it because, I don't know, I
like the way they did it. Like last episode, we get the Greens and their perspective
Yep.
on the king's death, and this episode we get the Targaryens
Yeah.
side, and it's like, oh, that was kind of clever actually. How they like focused on one, per
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
And I also, when you were telling me, because you watched it a little bit before I did,
A little
that
bit,
that
yeah.
they did like it didn't feel that finale. I think they needed a little
Which I don't-
more
it's
of
not like a bad thing,
right, but
I
I think Rhaenyra they still needed you to. She needed to even more pain. So that when we come in the next
I
season,
got that.
so she lost 2 sons
yeah.
in 1 episode, and
Yeah.
she's. I mean, that last
The whole
scene where she
episode,
turns and
I
she's
don't
like,
want war. I
right.
don't want war. We can't fight because that's what I promised my father before
then
he
they're like-
died. Your kid's dead.
Damon kept going. They're gonna,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to
But
fight.
they didn't though. Like Alicent didn't like order the death of like Lucerys. It was just like, well, because Aemon's a fucking idiot
No,
and
but I was
doesn't know how
gonna
to
say,
control his dinosaur.
They did set that up in the dinner episode, which is your favorite.
You gave an angsty teen a fucking T-Rex that flies and breathes fire. You asshole.
Obey me, please obey me.
He's on a flying Godzilla.
He does. He looks just like Godzilla.
He's a fucking that flies.
I'm waiting for Matthew Broderick any
Yeah.
moment to come right out of 1998.
Oh my god! And he stole it too. So it's like already he's not gonna be like. That's like when a Pokemon gets too
Right,
high level.
that's not
and
his
starts
first
using
owner.
Wrong moves.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you're not my OG
no,
owner.
I
You
don't know
stole
who
me.
You are. Yeah.
You're lucky I even listened
yeah.
at
You're
all.
lucky you can climb me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
Fucking-
they did
Mm.
set that up in episode 8 when the kids blow everything up when they get to dinner and everybody
No,
starts
I know.
to get along.
I know.
So he's.
I know.
But my biggest problem, because they didn't telegraph things too much over the head
Mm-mm.
until this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, glaring. Like, we need 11 minutes of the queen talking to her 2 sons, and one specifically, and then making them swear they're not going to do violence, and telling them, hey, it's not a big deal.
We'll make one error
It's an easy trip.
for no reason.
It's an easy trip.
yeah.
You can just get scooched down there and scooch right back.
Yeah.
Everything will be great. I
Yeah.
love you, son. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
You know how much when you get back, when they start saying
and the kid
those
even
things,
goes like, "I'm sorry, Queen." Yeah.
you're like, okay, he's dead.
Oh my god.
He's
Yeah,
already. He
yeah.
might as well just jump
You're
off
fucked.
the ledge.
You're fucked. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I didn't. That I was
But
a little.
That's what I
sad
mean.
about.
Like, no, of course he's gonna die. And like he gets there to the Baratheons, whatever, and you see Vagar like pop his head up, and he's like,
And that like
he's
super
gonna
confirms
die.
it.
He's like, he's gonna die, and then it's like another 8 minutes passes, and then he dies, and it's like,
I liked the
I know.
Baratheon scene though.
yeah,
Because I liked
yeah.
how because they're starting to reintroduce you to the old houses and you're starting
Yeah.
to see the history.
I'd
So
be
I
like,
like
the second
that.
he gets mad, I'd be like, look, man, I just delivered the.
That's what he
fucking
was
note.
saying. Yeah, and he's like,
I'm not able to offer
cut your eyeball out.
anything. Yeah.
Just
What? Yeah. What the fuck is happening?
The after how the director talks about saying basically he was supposed to be like he still is Eamon's still like a kid. Like even though he's like
Right,
he
he's
looks like a
immature.
badass,
He's
you know,
immature.
but he's like an
Yeah.
immature kid still,
Right.
and he wasn't actually trying to kill him.
No, he's just trying to fuck with
he's
him.
just screwing with
He's
him.
scaring
But
him.
again, like you said, his dragon.
Well, but because like Lucerys' dragon like fucks with Vhagar.
He,
He,
at first,
breathes
like,
fire
listen to
on
me,
him.
obey
Yeah,
me, and then he's
yeah.
like, no, screw you, because
Yeah.
they're two dragons.
Mhm, yeah, and like the little one attacked the big one, and the big one's like, well, now I gotta kill you.
Now I have to eat you.
Now I have to fucking kill
Now I
you.
have to eat you, and
Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I'm fine, and we're like, you're not, my dude. And then he's not fine as his dragon gets eaten in half. Oh,
yeah, it
Cool.
reminded me of the Serpentine episode of Game of Thrones. Like just zigzag a little,
Oh.
and you won't die.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna run 100 miles an hour
where
straight
he
ahead.
was, like,
Yeah,
shooting the
he's
arrow? He's like
'cause-
missing on purpose. I'm like,
because he's not turning.
Yeah,
and like
no.
all the memes, like just all you gotta do is Serpentine, and
he's
you
just
don't.
running
Have to,
straight.
literally, all you gotta do is stop in the trenches, because like Big Dragon gets pissed and he flies above the
Or
trench.
just like
That's
kind
it.
of watch back
Yeah.
when he fucking fires.
then
Just like
just
start running backwards.
Turn back
Yeah,
because the
no,
dragon's
keep
this
going.
big,
Yeah.
and that dragon's the
Keep
size of a building.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what? It was literally like a bus chasing a car.
Yeah.
You have way more agility. Yeah,
Right.
no, it felt
just
very Serpentine
Go
episode.
land and run back into the Baratheon Hall because he said he couldn't kill you in there.
Right.
He's like, I'm staying in here.
Well, if he would have just landed when he loses him inside the
I know.
TIE fighter part,
Just stay in there.
just in there, just stop right there and wait till the rain to
No.
clear out.
Why does he go out? Because he has to die.
He has to die because the show has to happen.
But like my problem
That's
is
bad
like, if
writing
you
when
read
that has to happen.
That exactly, and they like
The problem
hang
is
on it for too long.
That is a direct scene from the book. That's
Right.
the problem. So
'Cause
you
that-
can
'cause
only
it
dress
did
up
happen.
the scene
Yeah.
from the book so much.
Yeah,
But I get it because we're looking at it from a writer point of view. But if you look at
that's
it,
not the end of the book though.
no.
Right. So I could go right now.
Well, the book is different though.
I could
It's-
go right
it's-
now and pick up from when Lucerys dies in the book, and now know everything that happens in season 2, give or take.
ish because they are changing
Ish,
stuff.
give or take.
Because the book is like the whole history
give or
spread out.
take.
Because I read an interview yesterday. And they were basically saying they didn't want to do the time skips initially,
I didn't think so.
but
they had to.
they had a lot of negative feedback and people saying how boring like some of the episodes would be because
Yeah.
there was filler.
mm-hmm.
And they said, and I look at literally in the interview they were like, look
this would
at
have been season 3's finale if we went normally. Like
because we wouldn't have
ugh.
got, exactly because they said
Ugh,
people are
kill
complaining
me.
about
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And how the
Oh.
pacing is, and they're like, people are already complaining about that. So
Yeah.
we're glad we did the time skips. We got
Nice.
to the war, now we're at the war. So
Now
when we
we're
get
here.
back, it's just
Yeah.
like full
This would
throttle.
have been like season 4 is the war, and that's the last season.
They-
You're like, kill me.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll take more episodes,
Yeah.
but it had like that's what I'm saying. I
No.
didn't mind the pacing.
No.
I really didn't. For
No,
overall,
but they did go. They didn't know clearly how to do it because they went like light speed and then stop. We're hitting the fucking brakes, you know.
yeah,
And now it's hours
it's
between
probably
episodes. you
that's
know?
based because the way the
Yeah.
book is written, it's not a complete head to tail story. It's like
Probably not.
history parts.
Probably that.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to, you know what I mean, to
It's
slow
probably
down
like
from
a textbook.
right.
You know,
it is.
Like
It's like the
that you
history
read.
of
Yeah, right. It's not
Yeah.
a novel that you read and
Not
has a
the same
story.
way.
No, no,
No.
no. It's like a fucking history text. It's the. It's
It's like how we're working
Silmarillion
on the
or
one
whatever.
thing and we have the other
Yeah,
thing. It's like
the
that.
compendium.
Yeah, exactly, the
It's
compendium.
the Silmarillion of
Yeah, he's
Game of
got the
Thrones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
No, it was fine.
the season
one
was
has-
strong.
Yeah, it was good. I liked the series.
I
Way
still
better than
think
Game
the
of
finale
Thrones.
was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been better, yes, but it wasn't
Could
bad.
have been more. Finale.
It wasn't bad. It was better than She-Hulk by
Could have been more
1,000%.
finale. You know.
It's definitely probably the show of the year as far as high budget shows go.
Better Call Saul ended.
Okay, maybe new shows then is what I
Okay.
mean. Or, okay,
Okay.
but high budget. I'm
Okay.
talking like
Okay.
spectacle shows, like
Alright.
Marvel
HBO
shows and
cheats, though.
HBO shows.
That cheats though.
True, but you have HBO versus like a Disney and a Netflix. They all have big budget, big spendy. You know, you didn't really hear much about Stranger Things this year. You didn't really hear much about. I mean, comparatively speaking,
True. No, you didn't.
I think this was
No,
the
you
year.
didn't.
This is probably
Yeah.
the best show overall of the year. And even though the finale wasn't a 10, I still think season 1's like a 9 overall.
But also,
it was
to
strong.
use a Stranger Things comparison. I know it was just an analogy, but
Right.
like to use that, it's like, well, like Stranger Things has been going on, and it like hasn't gone.
No,
away.
you're right.
Like Game of Thrones was gone,
Right.
and no hopes.
Well,
of
that's
coming
what I'm
back.
trying to say is
Yeah.
like
And
this,
now it's
what
back.
this
Yeah.
shook off the
Mhm.
stigma and the hatred
Yeah.
and all of this it managed to achieve and still
no.
it's
I'm lukewarm
insane.
on this, but it's still miles miles. It's eons away. Of
Oh, see, I'm way
the
better than lukewarm, but I got you.
Game
I
of
know what you're
Thrones
saying.
finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they've
I like
redeemed
the series.
themselves.
Season 1 isn't like any worse because of the finale.
No.
I think it was a good end to the season.
No, it actually makes me wish that the
It's
show
just
would have
I
ended
want
better.
The war now.
Right. But imagine
this
if
episode.
season 8 ended amazing,
Yeah.
and then you're watching this because then you know, man, when this is over, I get to watch Game of Thrones again because this all leads in the game. But now you're like, I don't even really want to.
I don't really care.
Still, like,
Yeah,
I still don't
can
even.
you-
I just want to watch this.
Can you slow down a little bit?
Yeah, like just stay in this
You're
world.
catching up to the garbage
Yeah.
too soon. Yeah. We didn't talk about Corliss coming back. The
He
sea snake.
killed it.
Fuck yes, dude.
He was
They're like,
amazing.
he's back. He's alive. Fucking A. I'm like, fucking A,
Yeah.
dude. Yes.
So the cast is
Yes.
great, man.
Yeah. Fuck yes. Yeah. I'm so on board. But yeah, like no, I think it's a good show. And I
Watching
like
his
that-
wife or niece or whatever, like
Yeah.
flip flop from like,
Mhm.
pretty sure you murdered my son to, damn, she's just trying to do what her dad asked her to do.
Yeah.
And
Right.
she's my family,
Uh-huh.
so I might as well stop being an asshole.
Might as well stop
it was
being a
cool.
bitch,
Like
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The character development in this show is miles better than anything Game of Thrones
And
did in
that-
the last 4
the
seasons.
table that like lights up with the
amazing.
fucking candle
So
thing. I'm like,
cool.
oh my
That
god.
was so cool. I knew you were freaking out about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Video
looked fucking sweet.
CGI guy over here. I knew
It
was
looked
like.
fucking sweet. I think it was practical. If I'm going to be honest,
I think it was practical mixed
Yeah, it was
to
made
brighten
look
it.
practical.
It was
yeah.
practical, and then they brightened it
Yeah,
with some
for
posts
sure.
because
Yeah.
there's no way 7 candles lit the entire, and not in the way it lights either. Like they shove it in there, and then it's like. I'm like, come on! It looks amazing though. It's better than.
Okay.
That's the same table from Game of Thrones, but
No,
they
it
don't.
is, but they don't.
But they
light
don't
it.
use it, and it's all decrepit and old, and
Yeah.
it's like so cool to see it like at its
Restored,
peak. It's
yeah.
so cool, man. That's
Like
what I'm
the
saying.
whole
The show
map
is
of
awesome.
Westeros,
It's a
yeah.
good show.
Yeah, like we have allies in them, and we have allies in the Tullys,
She's like,
and the name
and I
drop,
thought you were my ally,
and the
he's
name
like,
drop, name drop, name drop,
Yeah.
name drop. I'm like, oh my god. And the second Jacaerys is like, send us to Winterfell, and
the
Baratheons,
Starks.
I'm like,
The
"That's
Starks
my
play a
boy."
big role in
That's
this
my
story.
boy.
I can't
Fuck
wait.
yeah. Go
When
to
you
Winterfell.
hear Winterfell, you're
I'm
like,
woo! And then they focus on the other kid, like,
because earlier one of the guys goes like,
Yeah.
can we rely on, it's been almost 20
The
years,
Starks, they've
20
been
years
the-
for
yeah,
whatever, and he goes,
yeah.
the Starks have never like whatever on a because they don't in
No.
Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
say something,
Yeah.
Ed,
Fuck yeah.
Ned got his head cut off.
I'm like, fuck man, are they going to Winterfell in this episode? And they don't.
No, next
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Because that Stark is a big time Stark, which leads to like like Rickon, like one of the Rickon Starks and all that. So I think Starks will be the one of the major players next season, and that's
Rick and Stark. Like
Well, they-
the new Adult Swim show.
oh, so no, it's good. It just sucks that we have at least a year and a half to wait.
No, it should drop in like May.
They should have already been. It's in production, but they should have already been filming.
be-
like
yeah.
like episode 6, they should have already been like, hey, we're already filming.
Yeah.
Like we'll be done by Christmas.
Yeah, good. 'cause it
And
needs to come out in
post-production-
May, or I won't give a shit in a year and a half.
I mean, it could come out in
know?
fall like this one. I mean, a year's a year. Most shows do a year.
May. I need
I need
May.
all of the episodes.
May, or I won't watch season 2. That's your ultimatum.
Hear that, HBO? You better get on it.
Lord knows
All right,
they
we're
give
done.
me what I want.